and welcome back to another episode of the Deloitte Women's Premier League magazine show. As you guys know, we have this show every week during the season, and once again I'm joined by two amazing guests, and I'm going to introduce them in a bit, but just a bit of a reminder that you can get all the highlights, photos and action from the Women's Premier League here on the Facebook page of WPL as well as sgwomensfootball.com. I mean, you can get all the action, and it's been a really exciting couple of weeks, so now let's get down to it, guys. Welcome to the show. I have Humaira Ibrahim from Aerion FC. Hello, Humaira. Thanks for joining us. And also Victoria from Tiong Bahru FC. Thank you so much. And both of you are in your kits today, and thank you so much for joining us, like I said. So Humaira, let's start with you first. You know, you're with Aerion, and we got a couple of guests on the show from your club actually already. So let's ask you, how have you been enjoying the season so far with your club?
Firstly, thank you for having me over. I've been watching this show for a while, and honestly, I didn't expect to be here also. So coming here is really like an honor. So thank you for inviting me.
It's an honor, yep.
Yeah. I think coming into the season, when I first started off, I was a bit nervous, a bit scared, because it's my very first WPL.
Wow! Yeah. Congrats on that.
Thank you, my debut.
Your debut.
But I think so far, now that I've played a few games, I have to say that I've been enjoying it a lot. I look forward to match weekends. They are exciting, they're enjoyable, so it is very, very fun. And I've been learning a lot from my teammates, my coaches, even the opponents. So yeah, it's been great so far lah.
I'd love to know more about your journey, which we will get to in a bit. I'd love to know how you got into WPL. But okay, Victoria, for yourself, Tiong Bahru, take me through your journey so far. Is it also your first season?
Yeah, it's also my first WPL.
Wow!
Yeah.
So we have two debutants today. I feel like I'm watching Bridgerton. Debutants, but fantastic. Congrats on that. So how did your journey start in football?
In football?
Yeah.
So I started back in secondary school, but I've always had interest in football because my older brother was into it since we were little kids.
Yeah.
So when I got the chance to play in secondary school, I knew it's something that I wanted to stick with. Yeah, and I never looked back from there.
So was it always football for you? Were you playing other sports as well?
Yeah, before secondary school I did sports like swimming, softball, all that, but I always knew I wanted to do football.
Is it like, okay, for yourself as well, Humaira, is it similar? I mean, because you said it's your first season, right?
Yeah.
So how did you start playing the beautiful game?
Okay, so I started off in JC actually. When I was in JC, we had to pick a CCA, right? So initially, I wanted to join netball because I've been playing netball since I was in primary school. Even in secondary school, I was an active member of my school's netball team. So obviously, coming to JC, I would have wanted to continue netball, but unfortunately, my school didn't offer netball as a CCA. So I had no choice. I had to pay another CCA, but I guess perhaps there was a silver lining. I could join the Meridian Soccer Girls team, and they looked very bonded at that point of time. So I was like, hey, why not? Just try it out, and that's how I got here today lah. And I say no regrets.
Wow. Yeah. And I want to ask a bit more about your teams because still Aerion you got some Singapore national players playing for you. Steph Dominguez, of course, was on this show. And why did you decide to join still Aerion? There are other clubs as well, I'm sure that you are aware of. Is there a reason why?
I think it was mainly just because I came in with a friend. Yeah, we were
Who was that friend?
Jessica, but she no longer plays football anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just me.
It's just you.
Yeah.
So, but when you joined still Aerion, how do you feel about being part of such a team?
Honestly, when I first joined, I was like, whoa, everyone here is so good. Like, how can I contribute here, But eventually, I think that was back in 2019 when I first joined. So that was my first WNL, Women's National League. And I guess from then, I just continued learning from everyone, and that's how I'm here now today.
So Victoria, since it's also your first WPL, just like Humaira, right? What are some of the challenges you face, in this season?
Some challenges, I would say, being a WPL player, we have a lot of trainings. So having to juggle between our trainings, matches, and our outside life like work and school is quite challenging and difficult. So it's mostly time management. Yeah,
and we've had a lot of guests as well come on the show. They're working, some of them are teachers, and balancing that as well. So your weekends basically are just gone to football, right, Humaira?
Yeah.
But is it worth it? Do you think, how do you feel about that?
Okay, for me, because I'm schooling, so sometimes the stress comes in, oh my god, I need to do the work, but I have trainings, I have matches, how am I going to do this? But eventually, 10 years down the road, I'm going to look back and be like, yeah, I had fun during those days.
And yourself as well?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm schooling as well, so we have to juggle between school, training, social life.
social life, guys. Especially now that you can, remove your mask. So I'm sure all the excitement about going out, especially for us ladies on our weekends. But okay, let's go to the WPL. Back to that. I'm sure you've played against some exciting players, right? So can we get a couple of names, from you, Humaira, who have impressed you so far in WPL?
Well, I think Angie Pang from Tiong Bahru has impressed. She's a very good player, a very formidable player at the back line. It's so hard to get past her,
Yeah.
And she plays in NTU as well, which I'm also, so basically I'm her teammate lah. And
Wow.
like I can say I can trust her a lot at the back. She will clear all the balls,
And there's a reason why she is probably going to be called back to the Singapore national team as well, because of that.
Yeah.
And her experience as well. And she was also on the show last week. So, Angie, if you're watching this, fangirls here. Fangirls.
See you at training.
See you at training. Yeah, I mean, for yourself, Victoria, any teammates that have impressed you, or even players you've played against?
I would say for a teammate that has impressed me, Tiong Bahru's youngest player, Rachel Chan. My goodness, every match she always comes and performs. Like, she's come in and scored so many clutch goals for us.
Yes.
Yeah, I think she's really showing her level of play. It's great.
Great. So shout out to Rachel Chan. Hopefully, we can get you on the show as well. Since I now found out that you're the youngest player at Team.
Yeah.
How old is she, by the way?
She just turned 18. Like,
Wow.
just happy belated birthday, Rachel.
This is a really a show where we always like to wish our guests happy birthday as well. But let's go back to a little bit more about the support from your families, right? Since it's your first season, how has the support been, in your lives towards your journey in football, Humaira?
I think my family, okay, so I have a brother-in-law. He has been playing football for very long. He's also, I think, a coach at LCS. So when I have questions, I've always asked him about how can I do this, how can I do that? And then my mom, my dad, I always ask, oh, when's the next game? Oh, are you training today? Like, I could just be studying in my room and then my dad would call, hi, what are you doing? You're training today, right? What time? Are you on the way?
Wow.
Yeah, so my dad, he's very caring. He shows a lot of concern for me. And I have some of the bestest friends in Aerion. Like, I met them here. I met them through Aerion, and one of them is actually my roomie now in NTU Hall. So I would say the support system for me is really, really great. I have many friends and my families, and I know I can always count on them.
And family support is very important, especially in football. Not just in football, but in life in general. So that's great to know that your parents and your family is very supportive. And keep supporting our ladies, guys. They really need it. Victoria, for yourself, is it similar as well? Your friends, and do they say, hey, I have a friend who plays football?
Yeah, I would say so. In terms of my friends, yeah, they know I have trainings and all that. And if I can't make it for, say, a social event, and because I have training or matches, they're very understanding.
Yeah.
But in terms of family, it's not that I don't receive a lot of support. Honestly, it's that I myself keep to myself.
Oh,
I keep to myself a lot in
Keep
terms
to
of my
yourself.
family. Yeah. So maybe the only one that really knows what's going on in my football life is my brother.
Really? So how
Yeah.
does your brother feel about you in being in football?
I always talk to him about matches and all that. So, and we bond quite a lot over football because he's the one that got me into it in the first place. Yeah.
Okay. So did you used to play with him when you were younger? And
I always wanted to, but older brother, protective of the little sister. So he wouldn't want me to play with his friends and all that. So on the rare occasion that I did, it was great. But I didn't get many chances.
oh dear, I'm sure that now he's not going to try to mess with you, especially since
Yako.
you're in the WPL, which is a professional league in Singapore. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about, how the progression of women's football through the years. And I think for you guys especially is very interesting because, like I said, first season, but you've probably already seen how women's football was before this league started, right?
Yeah.
So I want to get your thoughts, Humaira. I mean, the changes in women's football through the years. How do you feel about the changes?
I mean, if we compare it now to then, there's been many, many improvements. Last time we didn't have this talk show, so it's nice to see more coverage about it, more exposure. Even the live stream now, it's weekly.
Yep.
I think last time there wasn't any of these things. So yeah, it's nice to see where we're going, where we're headed to. But I think there's still more that we can do, and to achieve that, we will need everyone's support in this lah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that. I mean, we're actually seated here in the lawn at Deloitte, and it's thanks to brands like Deloitte that we have been able to have shows like this and also support women in football. And yourself as well, I mean, like I said, similar to Humaira, what are some of the changes you've seen, in women's football scene in Singapore through the years?
At this point, I think we have more players and more supporters. So, with more players and more supporters, I think women's football in Singapore can only go up.
Yep.
Because we have more players showing their skills and talents, and more supporters that come down, watch our matches, or spectate through like the live stream. It's really great. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, guys. Now we're going to go and have a look at the highlights from match week 11. Let's have a look now at the results for match week 11. Here are the latest standings. And let's have a look at the upcoming fixtures. Humaira, I want to know what's the culture of still Aerion like. What do you like about playing in the club?
Well, I think because it's the only club I've played, so the reason why I stay is mostly because of the people there. It's a very family culture, everyone's just really wanting to help each other improve and all that. And I would say that the players there, they've been playing for a very long time. We have players who have been Aerion for I think more than 10 years.
Yes.
So that's amazing, which just shows how extremely loyal they are to the team, which I hope to be too. And yeah, so I guess the culture is around there, like loyal and a family-like kind of thing.
Yeah, because I've been hearing about how some players have just specifically chosen to stay at Still Aerion because of the said family culture. I think that's everything in football. And for yourself, Victoria, what's the culture in Tiong Bahru like? I always found Tiong Bahru interesting because they've always been from day one very invested in women's football and grassroots as well. But for yourself, what's special about Tiong Bahru?
For me, for your team, I would say Tiong Bahru is very much a family. We have a lot of senior players that act like mentors. They're super supportive of the younger players, and they give us a lot of guidance. So that's something I really appreciate. Yeah.
And as rookies, right, what was some of the challenges? I mean, we talked about challenges, but when you first came for your training session, Humaira, can you share with me your first ever training session? What were your emotions like? How do you feel? And how do you overcome that?
Okay, it was back in 2019. I went into training. I said hi to the coaches, hi to everyone else there. And then as soon as I started training, it was so high intensity. I was like, how am I going to keep up? And we were doing some shooting drills, and everyone were shooting with both legs, basically. And I was like, whoa, how do you do that? I can only do it one. How do you guys do that? Yeah, so it was very terrifying for a first training because, everyone was so good. But I'm glad I'm able to learn from all of them.
Yeah, and maybe in a bit I'm going to ask you guys for some advice to the youngsters, but for yourself as well, Tiong Bahru first training session, take us through your emotions.
Wow, seeing all the senior players, they're all super skillful and they're so good with the ball. It's really a sight to behold.
Yeah.
As a more rookie player, you get to see it and then you're like, oh my goodness, how am I supposed to be how am I supposed to play like that? How am I supposed to play at this level? But over time, I think they really helped me get used to it, get better. So yeah.
And one of the goals of the league is to obviously get more girls involved in the sport, and we would love to know as well, what advice you have for young girls who are watching this and who want to, play as well for one of these teams. Maybe we'll start with you first, Humaira.
Well, I think just follow what your heart wants. If you want to play football, just go out there, put on your boots, just go and kick some balls. You got this. Just keep going.
You got this. Yourself, Victoria, what advice do you have?
I would say don't let anything stop you. If you want to play football, go and play football. And you're really going to enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's why we love the beautiful game, right, guys? Well, I mean, before we go, of course, I just want to also get you guys to share your words or your messages to the fans out there who watch the WPL. So we'll start with you first, Humaira. What is your message for fans of the WPL?
Very, very huge thank you to everyone who has been supporting the WPL. It's nice to see how much we have progressed over the years. And like I said earlier on, there's still so much more that we can work on. So I hope that this support will continue to grow and continue to last as long as possible.
Fantastic. And Victoria, for yourself?
Of course, I have to say thank you to all the supporters. It's really been great seeing all the fans come down and watch the matches, even if it's at Yishun Stadium itself or through the live stream. And I think all the support is what keeps us going. So thank you so much.
And thank you so much to both Humaira as well as Victoria for joining me. It's a pleasure having you guys here, especially as rookies. I wish you all the best in the seasons ahead, because I'm sure you guys are going to be playing, and hopefully for our Singapore national team as well one day. Thank you very much, guys, and of course, for more on the WPL, don't forget to follow the SG Women's Football page as well as the Facebook page of SG WPL. And of course, I'm Ash from Futbolita, and I'll see you guys next time.